Hello everyone, it's Mega Pilot Joe back with you all. This is my first live stream, and I think this might be the first of many live streams that I'll be doing subsequently. So this is my first time trying to do a live stream, so I apologize if it isn't the best quality. But hopefully, as I do more, I'll make it better for all of you. So today we are here in Infinite Flight in a Cebu Pacific A321 as Cebu 447 in Ninoy Aquino International Airport in Manila. And as you know, with the newest update, Infinite Flight released 3D buildings for two airports in the Philippines, which is Manila and in Iloilo. So this is where we'll be flying to and from today. We'll be doing a round trip. So we will be departing Manila, bound for Iloilo, and then once we arrive there, we will be flying back to Manila. And as a Filipino, when I discovered that Infinite Flight made 3D buildings for these two airports in the Philippines, I was really excited, and I really wanted to jump on the opportunity to fly in the Philippines because of these airports. But the thing is, at that time I was still super busy with school, so I had to wait all the way until now before I got to fly again. So I'm really excited to do this flight. And this flight is relatively short. It's only around 45 minutes long. So without further delay, I think we can go ahead and start setting up our aircraft for this flight. So now we are still in the cold and dark state, so I think we can go ahead and set up our aircraft. So let's turn on our nav lights, and then we can turn on our electricals. So first the battery, and start our APU. And let's just wait for everything to get set up here. And also, something I would like to showcase to all of you is that I am using IF Assistant and IF Operations for this flight. I bought them a few months back, but I haven't been able to use them properly. So hopefully I can also showcase them to all of you now. So let me just see if they are open and running. And IF Operations. Let me start the flight, and let me go back to Infinite Flight.
Hey there, Captain. Ready when you are.
And there we go, guys. They are up and running. Okay, now that our aircraft is started, let us file our flight plan. So today we will be taking off using runway 13 because that is the best runway to use given the weather, and also the fact that the A321 is able to take off from this runway. So we'll be departing from runway 13. So we'll be using the Verde 4 Victor departure, and here it is, Verde 4 Victor departure. We can fill that in, transitions runway 13, and we have that filled up. After that, after we have completed flying the departure, we will be flying on the Alpha 461 airway. Well, the thing is, in Infinite Flight we still can't file airways, but I'll just be filling up the waypoints. So since this is a short flight, it wouldn't be much of a problem. So we will be flying to the waypoint stop up, and then we will be flying to the San Jose VOR. So it's Sierra Alpha Juliet. So that is all the waypoints we will be flying on Alpha 461. After we fly over the transition, which is at the San Jose VOR, we'll be flying to the Whiskey 3 airway and transit at the waypoint Barba. So Barba, this waypoint here. Okay, I think the best thing we can do is go all the way to the Iloilo airport, because that is also the entry point of our arrival into Iloilo. So let us file our arrival, which is the Barb 1 November arrival into runway 02. So let us just file that in, and because this runway does not have an ILS approach, we'll be using the RNAV approach into runway 02. And just fill that in. Diane, initial approach fix. Okay, very nice. So our flight plan is essentially filed, and let us just fill up our autopilot settings. So I would like to showcase what are one of the things IF Assistant can do. So let me see if this is working. Okay, set flight level 310. Okay, for some reason it's not working. Let me see if it's working. We just exit to the IF Assistant. Let's see if it's working, guys. More commands. Right, it's on. And let's test. Set flight level 310. Okay, so it works. So this is just a sample altitude. I won't be flying at 310 today, so let us change it. Set flight level 290. Let's see if it changed. It did not change for some reason. Set flight level 290. Okay, do I really have to go back to the app every time? So I think the voice command is a little buggy. Set flight level 290. Set flight level 290. Let's see if it changed. Okay, it did change. Okay, let's see if it will change now. So our runway heading is at runway 13, which is 137 degrees. So let's see if it will respond. Set heading 137. Okay, it's still not responding. Maybe I'll try turning it off and on. I really like to showcase this to you because I tested it the other time and it's really working fine. So let me just turn it off and turn it on again. And set heading 137. So it works when I go into the app and say it. Okay, hold on. Set heading 137. Oh, okay. Set heading 137. Let me try that again. Set heading 137. Okay, it's still not picking it up, so I think at this point I'll just do it manually. Let me just set it to 137, 130, 567. So that is our cruising altitude. Let me just disengage the autopilot first. So that will be our we will set these initially. So now that we are done, we can turn on our fasten seatbelt signs and the no smoking lights, and I think we can start with our pushback. And that's one of the features of the IF Assistant, which is our flight attendants.
So at this time, I would like to
Okay, let's see if the beacon lights work. Beacon lights on.
Please find your seats, fasten your
It's still
seatbelt,
not working
and put your
for some
tables to
reason.
the upright position. Flight attendants, armed doors for departure.
But when I go in
cross-check
here,
to report.
beacon light on. What does it say? Beacon light on.
Check.
Ah, there we go, it worked. You see, for some reason when I enter back into in-flight flight, doesn't really work. Maybe I'll try it again another time. But I think in the meantime, it's the best to just turn it off for now and just do everything manually. Okay, so let me just turn it off, and then we can go ahead to pushback. So since we are
Ladies and gentlemen,
pushing
my name is
back,
John, and on behalf of the
since we're
entire
taking off
crew,
at
I would
runway
like to welcome you
13,
aboard.
we will be pushing
They've
back
just
to
closed
the right
aircraft
side.
doors. So at this time, I would like to ask you to
And while
turn any
pushing back, we
mobile
can go
phones and
ahead
tablets you may have
and
with you
start
to
our
airplane mode.
engines.
Please find your seats, Fasten your seatbelts and put your tables to the upright position. Flight attendants, arm doors for departure, cross-check and report. Thank you.
So I hope that all of you are seeing this stream just fine, and just tell me if you can't really see the stream clearly. Now we can start our engines, starting engine 2. And our engine 2 is starting up. Okay, we can stop our pushback here. Go back to the cockpit and see our N1 settings. Okay, engine 2 is stable. We can now turn on engine 1. Start engine 1. So engine 1 is starting just fine. And engine 1 is stable. So now that our engine 1 is stable, we can turn off our APU. Turn our APU off, and we can set our pitch trim. I think 20% will be fine. I think 30% will be a safe pitch trim setting. Now let's test our flight controls. Let's go to the outside view so you can see it clearly. Full left, neutral. Full right, neutral. Full up, neutral. Full down, neutral. Rudder, full left, neutral. Full right, neutral. Very nice. So our flight controls are working, and since runway 13 isn't the longest runway and our aircraft is not the smallest, I think that we will use flaps 2 for departure today.
Flaps 2.
Just to be safe. Okay, so our taxi checklist. So we have checked our flight controls, and our flaps is at flaps 2. That's right. Engine mode selector is normal, and takeoff memo, ECAM memo, takeoff no blue. So before taxi checklist complete, let's go. Alright, let us just inform everyone that we are taxiing to runway 13. So Manila traffic, Cebu 447 taxiing to runway 13. Let's go.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to direct your attention to the monitors above as we review the safety procedures. Even if you're a frequent flyer, please give it your full attention. Thank you very much. When the seatbelt sign illuminates, you must fasten your seatbelt. Insert the metal fittings one into the other, and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your belt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight.
Let me just turn on the map here so that we can see
There are several
where we are
emergency exits
going.
on this aircraft. Please take a moment now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we
We'll
need
just
to
maintain
evacuate the
around 10
aircraft,
knots for
floor
now.
level lighting will guide you towards the exit. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide,
Let's
which
test our
may also
brakes.
be detached and used as a life raft.
Our brake works.
Oxygen and the air pressure are
And maybe
always
we
being
can
monitored.
speed up a little
In the
bit.
event of a decompression, an
I think I
oxygen
saw
mask
another
will
aircraft
automatically appear
at
in front of
Terminal
you.
1.
To start the flow of oxygen, hold
Let me
the mask
see.
towards you.
It's another
Place it
Philippine
firmly
Airlines.
over your nose and
Okay.
mouth. Secure the
Let's go
elastic
back
band
so that
behind
we
your
won't
head
lose our way.
and breathe normally. If you're traveling with a child or someone who requires
right now we are on
assistance,
taxiway
secure your
November,
mask on first,
and then we'll be
assist
turning
the other
left
person.
on Golf
In the
10
event of an emergency,
to the
please
holding
assume the
point
bracing
Hotel
position
4
as displayed.
of runway
A life
13.
vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between your armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch
So right now
and
I'm
remove
actually
the vest.
using real life
Flip
charts
it over
because
your
I
head,
want to make a
pass the
flight
straps
as
around your waist,
realistic
and
as
adjust at the
possible.
front. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the
I
red
hope
cord.
I can show
Only
you
when
the
leaving
charts
the
that I'm
aircraft.
using.
If you need
Maybe
to refill the vest,
next
blow into the
time,
mouthpieces.
I don't know,
Use the
to
whistle
be
and
honest
light
with
to
you, how
attract
I can
attention.
show
Your seat cushion can
the
be used
charts
as
that
a
I'm
flotation
using,
device.
given that I'm
Pull the
using my
cushion from
phone
the
right
seat,
now and
slip
my
your
charts
arms into the
are
strap,
on
and
my
hug
computer.
the cushion to your chest. We remind you that this
But
is a
maybe I'll
non-smoking
find a way.
flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying
Okay,
the smoke
we'll be
detectors
turning
located
left
in the
now
laboratories is prohibited
onto
by
our
law.
holding point
You'll
Hotel
find
4.
this and all the other safety information in the card located in the seat pocket in front of you. We strongly suggest you read it before takeoff. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask one of our crew members. We wish you all an enjoyable flight.
So in real life, actually, at the end of this straight line, there is a hold short line, but I don't think they have it here. But it's okay, I'll stop either way and tell them I'll be taking off on runway 13.
Approaching runway 13.
Okay, we will just be stopping over here. Just right over here. We will stop here. And let's inform them we'll be taking off at runway 13. Manila traffic, Cebu 447, taking off runway 13. Traffic on final, be advised. Now we can turn on our strobes and our
Flight
landing
attendants,
lights
take your seats for takeoff.
and taxi onto runway 13, and then start our takeoff roll. So it's all the way in front over there, so we have quite a bit of space before we start our takeoff roll. Right, we are more or less aligned with runway 13. Okay, we have verified that we are on runway 13, and we can start
On
our
runway 13.
Okay, verified runway 13. Let me just calibrate. Calibration complete. And let's start takeoff roll, guys. Pitch down a little bit first. 50%. Takeoff. Thrust set.
One hundred
100
knots.
Ooh, I think the wind is gusting a little bit.
V1. Rotate. V2.
Put a little bit of rudder input. Pitch up 50
Positive rate.
degrees. Gear up.
Gear up.
Let me try to maintain the wind a little bit. The wind is quite strong. But maintain my runway heading. Runway 137. Okay. Look at that winds. Look at that gusting. Just look at the speed indicator and the PFD. It's going crazy. It's all good though. Alright, 1,500 feet, we can pitch back down to 10 degrees. And thrust climb. Alright, autopilot on. Okay, speed check, flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Speed check, flaps up.
Flaps up.
Look at that, it's really windy. The aircraft's being shaken around. Right, we will now be turning to our next waypoint. Can tune up uniform now. There's Manila there's Manila below us, and Ninoy Aquino International Airport off to our right side. Right, 250 knots, we can reduce our thrust to maintain that speed. So far so good. There's Laguna Lake behind us. Alright, 10,000 feet, we can turn our landing lights off and seatbelt signs.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And
you may
speed
now
up
move
to
around the
300
cabin.
knots.
However, we always recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated in case you encounter turbulence.
So we'll be maintaining 300 knots all the way until we reach flight level 280, and that's when we switch to Mach speed, which will be maintaining Mach 0.78. Then we can reduce our ascent rate to 2,500 feet per minute. So one thing I like, one reason why I like flying in the Philippines, other than because I'm a Filipino, is because of the scenery. There's really a mix of everything, whether it's mountains, lakes, rivers, volcanoes, the seas. So there's really a mix of everything, and you'll just enjoy it. I think the scenery in the Philippines is quite underrated, and not a lot of people know the beauty of it yet. But I hope that through these 3D buildings, more people will come fly in the Philippines in infinite flight, and they will see how beautiful the scenery is. You'll see. So right now we have a Laguna right beside us, and like I said earlier, a Laguna Lake. Right, we have reached 300 knots. We can lower our trim. And we've reached 15,000 feet. We can decrease our climb rate further to 2,000 feet. And there's the sun rising. So I hope that y'all can still see my live stream up till now. Again, this is my first time, so I apologize if there are any hiccups. But I hope I can improve as I do more of these. And right now we're flying over Tagaytay, the home of the famous Taal volcano, which we're actually about to fly over in a few moments. Right now we're above Taal Lake, which is where the Taal volcano is. And right now you can see the Taal volcano. Really beautiful. So along the way I'll be pointing out some landmarks that you can see. And just really highlighting how beautiful the scenery is. Okay, now I apologize, but now is the only time I looked at the chat, and I see you, Captain Walt. Hello, thank you for joining the stream. And Air Tour Aviation, welcome to the stream. And Try Brunei to Manila, use Royal Brunei 787-8. Okay, soon I will add that to the list. And the good thing is now is my school holiday, so I will try and find time to try and fulfill that request. Okay, we reached 20,000 feet, or flight level 200. Let's decrease our climb rate to 1,500 feet. So thank you everyone for joining the stream so far. And off to our left side right now is the mountains of Batangas. now, off to our right side, and we'll be flying over it soon, is Mindoro Island. And there are the beautiful mountains. And now we are on the Alpha 461 airway, technically. So we'll be flying to the top up waypoint and then San Jose VOR. I hope soon enough Infinite Flight will implement airways into the simulator. I mean, they have implemented SIDS and stars already. So I think it won't really be a problem for them to implement that in the near future. But we'll see. But I hope they do. Alright, we are approaching 28,000 feet, and there's the alarm. 1,000 feet to go, and the speed has now changed to Mach mode, and let's reduce our speed to Mach 0.78. So we're 1,000 feet away from our cruising altitude. So since this is a relatively short flight, we will be only on our cruising altitude for a few minutes before we start descending again. So far, it's quite an uneventful flight, luckily. Right, we are about to reach our cruising
In a few
altitude.
moments, the flight attendants will be passing around the cabin to offer you hot or cold drinks, as well as
So
a
let's
snack.
set our V now,
Alcoholic drinks are
and
also
we'll be
available at a
descending
nominal charge.
around 50
Now,
nautical
sit
miles.
back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
And like what our flight attendant said, just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm just having small chats with you all occasionally. I hope at this point my stream is still going, and although you can still watch my stream just fine. But just to tell you about why I started to live stream. To be honest, my preference is to post full flights. I don't really prefer posting those kind of cinematic videos of the flights that I post, because I don't think it really shows the full essence of what a flight is all about. It doesn't show how I set up the aircraft, doesn't show how I plan the flight, it doesn't show everything that goes into what a flight is all about, or the setting up. I think the cinematic time lapse is just kind of like a highlight reel. It's not really something I'm a fan of. So I like showing everything, and even if though it doesn't look as neat as a cinematic time lapse, but at least I get to show everything I want to show. I have more things to discuss about, and only through this full flight I can talk with you guys and share with you how I'm feeling about the simulator, about this flight I'm doing. And there's just more things I can talk about in general. And if I just do a time lapse, I have no interaction with all of you. I mean, I don't know. Let me ask you guys, do you enjoy watching time lapse, the cinematic time lapse videos where I just make like a highlight reel and cinematic shots with the song? Or do you like watching a full flight video or a full flight live stream where where I just show you everything? There are no cuts, there are no edits, and I'm just talking to you about literally anything. So just tell me down in the comments below what you guys like more. But like I said, my preference really is to do the full flights with no cuts. Mainly because of two reasons. Firstly is because of this. With no cuts, I can really show the full essence of what goes into the flight. And second reason is, to be honest, I'm not really a fan of putting all the work of doing, for example, like a 1 hour or 2 hour flight just to make a 3-minute video. So I'm not really a fan of that process. I like posting everything. And I think what I think those YouTubers like Electric Galaxy or people like him, I think what they do is they record a whole flight and they record the replay of the whole flight. So for example, the flight is 10 hours, then they take another 10 hours just to record a flight, probably even longer than that, so that they can get the shots that they want. So I don't think I would see myself putting it in that much time and effort, because the planning and the work already that it takes just to plan the flight, to make it as realistic and smooth as possible, it already takes up a lot of work, and I'm not really willing to, just go through the whole thing again just to make a video that is 3 or 4 minutes long, compared to like a full 10-hour flight that they always do. So that's my reason. To the outside view so you can see the amazing scenery much better. We are about to approach our top of descent. So just relax, guys. And hello, Bug the Pilot. Hello, sup, welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. So sorry, I'm only occasionally reading the chat. Hopefully, as time goes, I can find a way to remind myself to read the chat and acknowledge all of you who are watching. So we're now about to reach our top of descent. So this is where it'll get to the more interesting phase of the flight. So as you know, I'm very passionate about aviation, and I also pay a lot of attention to detail when it comes to the flight. I I planned the flight to make it as close to real life as possible. And as you can see, my flight plan is not just very simple. These are actually procedures that real life pilots will use to fly between these two airports, like the standard instrument departure, the Verde for Victor, and the top up and San Jose VOR, which you see over here. These are actually two waypoints which we pass through when we fly on the Alpha 461 airway. So again, infrared flight still doesn't have airways yet, but we have these waypoints, so we can fill that in. And then we have the standard instrument. We have the arrival, the Barb 1 November arrival, and the RNAV approach. So I really want to make this flight as realistic as possible. So I don't just simply file in random waypoints, and as long as we get from A to B. That was what I used to do when I was younger, but now I really pay attention to detail. And as you can see now, we are descending to 9,000 feet to Barba waypoint. So our altitude constraint there is 9,000 feet, so that is what we're descending onto. Okay, we've descended below flight level 280. And we have switched back to speed mode. And let's set it back to 300 knots. So another reason also why I wanna put a lot of attention to detail with these flights is because I also use these flights as a way to practice my flying skills, because I wanna be an airline pilot when I grow up. So I think it is a good practice to try and replicate what I do when I become a pilot when I'm younger, so that when I reach that stage of training to become an airline pilot, it won't be as difficult. And anyway, it's my passion, so I don't have a problem with it. And to be honest, no offense to those people doing the cinematic time-lapse videos. And one other reason why I don't like to do that videos is, to be honest, the flights that they do, they only do it just for show. Like, they don't do it because they want to fly that route. Like, they want to make things look as good as possible, rather than to show the essence of the flight. So most of the time when I look at their videos, no offense intended at all, but it's like one of the things I noticed, that their flight plans are quite unrealistic. They do not match how real life flights will fly at all. So they just put waypoints at random airports and just make sure they go from point A to point B, and sometimes they take off at the wrong part of the runway, or they use wrong taxiways and all that. But it's okay. Maybe some of them just don't know about such real life procedures, or maybe they just want to do it for a show. But obviously, I would like to have more courage to, point things out and to teach them. But it's really up to them, if they want to go to that extent of detail, to the extent of realism. But I know for myself that I would want to go to that extent, because I know this is what they do in real life. So I think soon I will make a video on how I plan my flights. I don't think it's very easy to show it to you guys right now, but I promise you guys I will show you how I plan a realistic flight, so that all of you guys can follow suit as well, if you guys are willing to do so. So going back to the topic about them filing the unrealistic flight plans. So looking at their videos, even though their cinematic shots, they look amazing. I'm gonna give them that. They look amazing. I love their cinematic shots, and I know for myself that I don't think that I can get to their level. But just my preference is that if your flight does not, if you don't do your flight realistically, then I don't think I'll enjoy it as much, because I really pay attention to the details. But that's just me. Don't take my word for it. It's still all up to you. You don't need to take my opinion very seriously. So I'm just sharing with you guys my feelings, more about myself, what I like. So that's also one of the reasons why I like doing live streams. I get to talk about stuff like these, and I know that people like all of you who are interested in aviation can come and listen as well, and we can discuss stuff like this as well. So let me just take this time to shout out to Captain Walt and Air Tour Aviation and Bug the Pilot for coming down to my stream. So thank you for coming, guys, and I hope that you will stay around and come for my future streams too. So now we have descended past flight level 200, and I think at around 13,000 feet, flight level 130 will start slowing down to 250 knots. And also, by the way, I'll be doing a round trip if you all still don't know. So I'll be doing a round trip. So once I arrive in Iloilo, I will fly back to Manila, and I will end the stream once I finish the flight back to Manila. And maybe any one of you, if you would like to fly with me, I am in the expert server. So if any one of you can fly in the expert server, you can join me if you'd like. So thank you for joining. And Captain Walt, thank you very much for the encouragement, and thank you very much for the sub. Really appreciate it. And there's the island of Panay in front of us. So Iloilo Airport is just behind those mountains. So as you can see, our arrival, we will be flying over those mountains, and then we will be turning downwind onto the airport. Then we'll be turning left base and then line up with the runway. So you'll see it later. For now, we're still descending. So far, everything is still looking okay. approaching flight level 130, and then after that you'll start slowing down to 250 knots. And normally what I do is when I slow down, I will disengage the autopilot because I don't really like how the auto throttle, in infinite flight works. Because how it works is it will decrease the throttle all the way until it reaches the certain speed, then it will start spooling up again. But that's not how the auto throttle works in real life. How the auto throttle works in real life is that it will decrease the throttle, but then it will, as it approaches the speed that I set it to, it will start advancing the throttles until it maintains that speed. It will make sure the aircraft does not go below that speed. So for some reason, in infinite flight it does not do that. So sometimes, especially at lower speeds, I'll find my aircraft almost stalling, and it's definitely not good. So 280 knots. Luckily, the aircraft right now is not that slippery, so it is slowing down. But if necessary, I will still extend the speed brakes. And let me give you a better view of the mountains first. Look at that. I don't think we need to arm the speed brakes. Yep, I don't think so. And now we are approaching 250 knots. Then I will start advancing the throttles. And that is how the auto throttle is supposed to work.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
as we begin our
We are
descent,
now
please
below
make sure
10,000
your
feet.
seat
Let's
backs
turn
and
on
center
landing
tables are in their
lights
full
on
upright
and seatbelts
position.
on.
Make sure your seatbelt
Okay,
is
everyone,
securely
stay in your
fastened
seats,
and all
please.
carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead bin. Thank you.
Maybe it's a good time now to announce that I'm inbound. We're near enough. Yes, we are. Let's announce inbound. And we'll be landing at runway 02. Left traffic. Okay, Cebu 447, 21 nautical miles away, inbound for landing. We'll make left traffic runway 02. So now we are flying on the Barba 1 arrival, and then once we reach Dian waypoint, then we will be flying on the RNAV approach into runway 02. So if you can see it over here. Oh, I'm so excited. I actually haven't seen the Iloilo airport in 3D yet, but we will find out once we land. The weather forecast at Iloilo, it's quite windy, but at least we only have a slight crosswind. It's mostly a headwind, so it will be just fine. Though the headwind is quite strong, but it's okay. You can handle anything. Okay, so now we are turning left downwind onto runway 02. So now just enjoy the mountains. This is what I'm talking about, guys, when I talk about Philippine scenery. And the Philippines has a lot of airports that you can fly to. And I think for now, for the live streams that I'll be doing subsequently, I'll be doing mostly domestic flights, just to show you the Philippine scenery. Okay, let us announce that we are left downwind of runway 02. Iloilo traffic, Cebu 447 is left downwind runway 02. Maybe once we are around 10 nautical miles, we will start slowing down to 200 knots. Once we're 10 nautical miles away from Johan, we'll start slowing down to 200 knots. And again, I will be using the manual throttle method so that I will be satisfied with how the aircraft slows down. So at Johan, we will be at 3,500 feet. But I think at this point we've already passed the airport. I don't think you can see anything. But you still can see these mountains. So we have already reached 10 nautical miles, so we can start slowing down. And then once we pass Johan, we will decrease our speed further to 180 knots. Okay, we are maintaining around 180 knots now. And it's announced we are at left base, runway 02. Iloilo traffic, Cebu 447 on left base, runway 02. Okay, let's set flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
And there's my co-pilot acknowledging flaps 1. So let's do our approach checklist. Barrel ref is at standard because we still cannot set our barrel ref. Seatbelts is on. Our minimum, according to our chart, I wish I could show you, is 486 feet, which is set. And auto brake, we have no auto brake. And engine mode selector is normal. So approach checklist is complete. Okay, we are about to go on final, so we can set flaps 2.
Flaps 2.
And let's slow down to 170 knots. Won't slow down too fast. So this is an RNF approach. Runway 02 has no ILS. So runway 20 though has ILS, but the winds right now favor runway 02 landing more. So we'll be using runway 02. Okay, so we can now announce that we are on final on runway 02. Iloilo traffic, Cebu 447 is on final runway 02. Let's slow down to 160 knots. And since this is an RNF approach, we have to do the descent manually. I think 600 feet or minus 700 feet per minute descent would be fine. Okay, let's put our gear down. I want to show it to you guys. Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Flaps
Let's arm our
3.
spoilers too. Let's slow down to 150 knots. And we can set our flaps full.
Flaps full.
Let's descend to our final approach speed of 140 knots. So let me calibrate my phone so we can control the aircraft properly. So now we are 2 reds, so we're a little bit low. Let me decrease our rate of descent. Maybe once you reach 1,000 feet, it will be my airplane. Okay, 1,000. My aircraft. Let me deactivate this. And then I'll be controlling it from here. Our ground altitude is 2,500 feet, so let me set that. Okay, so we're still a little bit low, but we can adjust it. Let me just align myself with the runway first. So let me decrease my rate of descent a little bit because we're still a little bit low. Hopefully Infinite Flight can implement the proper procedures so we can descend properly. Like normally on this kind of approaches they use the flight path angle to descend. So in this case I think it's a -3 flight path angle. But we'll just make do with what we have. It's okay. Wow, look at the wind. It is 040 at 23 knots. It's okay though. We can compensate. It's
300.
okay. We're coming a little bit high, but it's okay. We can adjust that.
200.
200 feet. Let me disengage the autopilot now.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Retard.
10.
Right.
Landing spoilers
There
extended.
you go. Touchdown. Reverse screen. Reset. $70 knots. Let me slow the reversers. 60 knots. I think we
Ladies
can
and
turn
gentlemen,
here.
for your
Can we
safety
turn
and
here?
comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns
wow.
off the fasten seatbelt
Okay,
sign.
we actually made
this
the
will
turn.
indicate that we have parked at
That's
the
good.
gate and that it's safe for you to move about. At this
Spoilers
time, you may use
retracted.
your cellular phones if
Check
you
the
wish.
spoilers.
Please check around your seat for any personal belongings you may have brought on board with you. And please use caution when opening the overhead bins, as heavy articles may have shifted around during the flight. On behalf of the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on
And
this trip,
flaps
and we're
up.
looking
Flaps
forward to
up.
seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a pleasant stay.
Cebu 447, it's clear of all runways. Okay, we can turn our strobes and landing lights off and start our APU. So welcome to Iloilo, guys. I am very impressed with what they have done with the Iloilo airport. Those 3D buildings look amazing. Well, I haven't been to Iloilo airport in real life, but right now looking at the simulator, how it looks in infinite flight, it looks amazing. So now let's just taxi to the gate. We floated a little bit, but I think it was quite an okay landing. Maybe we will park closer to the taxiway over there in front, because we'll be taxiing on there, I think, to take off at runway 02. So I think let's just park at the gate over there. I don't think Iloilo has the parking guidance system, but it's okay. We will just go to the outside view. So that we know where to stop. Oops, not now. Okay, let's turn over here. And we are aligned nicely. Are we? Yes, we are. So we will just go all the way to the end. I think we parked at the wrong line, but it's okay. So our APU is on, and we can turn off our engines. So engine 1, engine 2 off. Once we come below 10% and 1, we can turn off the beacon lights. And now we can test out the bridges. I realized I completely forgot to connect the bridges back where we were at Manila. So I think now we can test it out. I am so sorry, guys. Look at that. I am very impressed at what Infinite Flight has done. This is amazing. This is so cool. Wow. Look at this. And now I think it's connected already. Is it? And there we go. It's connected. Welcome to Iloilo, everybody. So we'll just let our aircraft rest for a little bit before we set up again to fly back to Manila. So normally, as you know, I only do one flight for my videos. So maybe for this first time I would like to try something new. So I'll be doing a round trip. So I will do the flight back to Manila. I think I should have parked further a little bit at the back, but at least the bridge still connected. Never mind. At least I know next time. So to prepare for our flight back to Manila, I will change my call sign to be Cebu 448. And I will be reading the chat again. I keep forgetting. Okay, hello Captain Walt. Nice bro, thank you very much for staying. So I'll be doing a round trip, so we'll let the aircraft rest a while. And I'll be taking a short break. So I'll be back, guys.
Hey there, Captain. Ready when you are.
Hello everyone, I am back and I hope you can hear me. So I just took a short break, but we are ready to fly back to Manila. Let me just clear the flight plan first. I think I forgot to do it. And before we start with our next flight, let us look at our flight report, which was generated by IF Operations. Let's create report and create an image, maybe image. Okay, so let's save the image and then we'll reset to pre-flight so that we can do it again for our flight back to Manila. Okay, so let's go back to infinite flight. Okay everyone, I hope you can see my screen now. So this is the flight report that was generated by IF Operations. So this is quite a nice flight report. And I think I forgot to change the airline. It was Scoot because the flight I did previously was a Scoot flight. But it's okay. So our landing vertical speed, it says here negative 145 feet per minute. So it wasn't a bad landing after all. And hope we can keep up the nice landing for when we go back to Manila. So let's go back to infinite flight. And I'm sorry I forgot to read the chat again. So here it is. I see hello po Fritz Jacob Fordes. So hello, welcome po to the stream. And Kent Justin Fuentes. Hello din po. So come over po everyone who wants to fly. You are welcome po to come and fly with me. So I'm still here po, waiting for all of you here at Iloilo. So if you'd like, you can come and join me po. Sali po. So I'll just wait for a few more minutes before I set up the aircraft again. So to those who have just joined the stream, I completed a flight from Manila to Iloilo while showcasing the new 3D buildings. So now we will be doing a return flight back to Manila. So right now I'm just waiting for anyone who would like to join me on the return flight because one of you po would like to join me. So go ahead po. Anyone would like to join me? I'll be waiting here at Iloilo. Let me just reset my autopilot first. And I apologize po if it will be a bit noisy at times because there's some construction going on po, going on nearby. So I apologize. So, so if there's no one else po would like to join, then I will start with the flight now. Okay, so let us just set our weight and balance. Our flight back to Manila, we will need 8.8 tons of fuel. Okay, 8,778. Okay. Then we will have another 215 passengers on board with us and 5.5 tons of cargo. So according to my flight plan, it says we need to have 5,460. I think this is okay. So this will be our load for our aircraft for this flight. So we'll be operating now as Cebu 448 for our return flight back to Manila. Now we have set our aircraft back up. Now let us file our flight plan. So we'll be departing via the Lambo 1 November departure. Wait, I clicked arrival. Oops. Lambo 1, where is it? I think it's Lambo 1 November. Okay, this one. Transition runway 02. Okay, so this one, add to flight plan. And then we will be going on the Bravo 472 airway, which will take us on the waypoints Topper and Bravo 472 will only be going on the waypoint Topper. You'll add that to our waypoint, and then we will go to RPLL, and then we will file our arrival which will be taking the Ibago 5 Romeo arrival into runway 06. So this is our arrival, and then we're approaching via the ILS runway 06. Just vectors to final will be okay. So there is, we have finished filing our flight plan. And also, let me just take this time to make a shout out to those who have made the 3D buildings, who have contributed to the 3D buildings. So these two names here, I shout out to both of you for contributing to making the 3D buildings for Manila and Iloilo airports. Thank you very much po. So now we have finished filing the flight plan, I believe. So let's just check if everything is properly filed in, which it is. So let us now configure our autopilot. So since we have our altitude constraints, which is at Lambo, we have to be at or above 9,000 feet. Other than that, we can climb all the way up to our cruising altitude of flight level 300. Flight level 300, and our runway heading is 21 degrees. So let us set it to 21 degrees because we'll be maintaining runway heading when we depart. Okay, so I think we are done. So let me check if anyone else wants to join. I don't think so. So if no one else would like to join, then I will start to depart. So we will stow the bridges. Let me turn on the fasten seatbelt signs first. I've almost forgot. Oops, the bridges didn't stow, okay. Hold on, let me check if my IF assistant is working, because I don't think it is. I think it's working. Let me just turn on and off the Infinite Flight Connect. And then I will close the IF operations and then open it up again. And let's see if it will work.
Hey there, Captain. Ready when you are.
Okay, I think it's working now, bro. So
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John, and on behalf of the entire crew, I would like to welcome you aboard. They've just closed the aircraft doors, so at this time, I would like to ask you to turn any mobile phones and tablets you may have with you to airplane mode. Please find your seats, fasten your seatbelt, and put your tables to the upright position. Flight attendants, armed doors for departure, cross-check and report. Thank you.
So let's start engine 2. Oops, engine 2. We'll be pushing back to the left because we'll be taxiing onto runway 02. and we can stop here. Okay, engine 2 is stable. You can start engine 1. Engine 1 is stable, and now we can turn off the APU. APU off. So let's set our pitch trim. Again, we'll be setting it to 30% to be safe, and then we will test our flight controls. Go left, neutral, go right, neutral, go up, neutral, go down, neutral, go left, neutral, go right, neutral. Okay, so all our flight controls are working. So we will set flaps for departure. We'll be taking flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
And then we will tell everyone that we will be taxiing to runway 02. So Iloilo traffic, Cebu 448, taxiing to runway 02. Let's go. But before that, let us set our V speeds in case we forget. Okay, so that will be our V speeds for this flight.
And ladies and gentlemen,
Let's taxi.
I'd like to ask you to direct your attention to the monitors above as we review the safety procedures. Even if you're a frequent flyer, please give it your full attention. Thank you very much. When the seatbelt sign illuminates, you must fasten your seatbelt. Insert the metal fittings one into the other, and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your belt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. We suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the flight, as we may experience turbulence. There are
I
several
hope you guys
emergency
can
exits
still
on
hear
this
me
aircraft.
despite the
Please take a moment
background
now
noise.
to locate your nearest
I'm
exit.
doing my
In some
best.
cases, your nearest exit may
Let's
be
test our
behind you.
brakes.
If we need to evacuate
Okay,
the
it's
aircraft,
working.
floor level lighting will guide you
And
towards
then we
the
will
exit.
turn
Doors can be
onto
opened by moving the
runway
handle in the
02.
direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide, which may also be detached and used as a life raft. Oxygen and the air pressure are always being monitored. In the event of a decompression, an oxygen mask will automatically appear in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, and breathe normally. If you're traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first, and then assist the other person. In the event of an emergency, please assume the bracing position as displayed. A life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between your armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Flip it over your head.
So
Pass the
before
straps
we
around
enter
your
the
waist
runway,
and adjust at the front.
we
To
will
inflate the
inform
vest,
them that we
pull
will
firmly on the right
backtrack
cord,
onto
only when
runway
leaving the
02.
aircraft. If you need
But
to
since we're
refill the
entering the
vest,
active runway,
blow
let's
into the
turn on our
mouthpieces.
strobe lights
Use the
after
whistle
we
and light to
announce.
attract attention.
So
The
Iloilo
seat cushion
traffic,
can be
Cebu
used as a
448
flotation
will
device.
backtrack runway
Pull the
02.
cushion from the seat.
Traffic on final,
Put
be
your arms
advised.
into the strap and hug the cushion to your chest. Flight attendants, take your seats for
So I'm
takeoff.
trying to practice my ATC communication skills. So the ATC in infinite flight, it's not fully complete.
Approaching
But I think
runway
it's time.
02.
Because I plan to move on to PC flight simulations where they have VATSIM as their option for ATC. So right now, even though it's just practicing with myself, I'm trying to practice the correct terminology so that when I reach VATSIM, I will not be too shocked. So we're on runway 02 now. We will taxi all the way to the end of the runway and then we will backtrack.
$2,000 remaining.
So that is our AAS. You'll ignore that because it doesn't really apply to us right now. We're just taxiing all the way to the end of the runway. So we're not at risk of overrunning the runway or anything.
$1,000 remaining. $700 remaining.
We'll be backtracking over here.
$400 remaining. $100 remaining. Approaching runway 02.
So I hope I'm backtracking correctly. But as long as we align ourselves with the runway, it's good enough, I guess.
On runway 02.
Okay, so we are almost lined up. Okay, now we are lined up with runway 02. So let's announce we are taking off. So Iloilo traffic, Cebu 448, taking off runway 02. Traffic on final, be advised. Let me calibrate my phone. And we can turn on our landing lights as well. So let's pitch down a little bit. Let me calibrate again, just to be sure.
On runway 02.
Let's pitch down 50%. Takeoff. Thrust set. 80 knots.
100 knots. V1. Rotate. V2.
So the wind. Just put a little bit of rudder and gear.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
We are still flying. So let's just keep the aircraft straight and try to compensate the winds. The wind is really trying to blow me. It's okay. $1,500.
Flaps up.
And we have departed Iloilo. Well, on the way now to Manila. May increase my rate of flight. And below 10,000 feet, we will be maintaining 250 knots. By 250 knots. There's the airport behind us. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, we've reached 10,000 feet. We can turn our landing lights and seatbelt signs off.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now move around the cabin. However, we always recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated in case you encounter turbulence.
300 knots. So after we land, after we arrive here in Manila, hope you guys can stick around because I will be going to the replay mode and we'll be looking at our landings at Iloilo, and hopefully we will also look at a nice landing when we reach Manila. right now, just enjoy the scenery, guys. already did a cinematic time lapse video from Manila to Capitan. So go and check it out too. So I think just now I was too soft because the aircraft noise was too loud. But I said earlier that we were flying above Katiklan Airport, which is also a very interesting airport to land, to approach in, because first off, it doesn't have an ILS, and also because it's always very windy. Normally the winds are also uh, at the high 10 knots or even over 20 knots. So it's quite an interesting and challenging airport to land in as well. I also did a cinematic time-lapse video a while back from Manila to Katiklan, also in a Cebu A321, so I hope you can go check it out as well.
In a few moments, the flight attendants will be passing around the cabin to offer you hot or cold drinks, as well as a snack. Alcoholic drinks are also available at a nominal charge. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
And look at this. Once we reach our cruising altitude, we're descending again. This is really a short flight. And in from a few nautical miles away, we'll be descending already. Talk about mule service, guys. I don't think there's that much time to eat anyways. And there we are, just as we reach our cruising altitude, we're descending down to Ibago.
And off to our left side is Mindoro Island. And we have switched back to speed mode, so let's increase our speed back to 300.
Hey there, Captain. Ready when you are.
and we're now leaving Mindoro, and right in front of us is Batangas. So we are less than maybe around 10 nautical miles away from Ibago, and that marks the start of us flying the Ibago 5 Romeo Star. And again, once we descend below flight level 130, we will start to slow down to 250 knots. And there is Batangas right below us. Okay, we have passed flight level 130 and we will now start to slow down, and by the time we reach 10,000 feet we will be at 250 knots. So our aircraft is slowing down quite nicely, so that's good. And there in front of us is the Taal Lake and the Taal volcano. Beautiful.
Ladies and
Passing
gentlemen, as
10,000
we
feet,
begin our
landing
descent,
lights
please
on,
make sure your
and
seat
seatbelt
backs and
signs
tray
on.
tables are in their full upright position. Make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened and all carry-on luggage is stowed underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead bins. Thank you.
And here's a better view of the Taal volcano and also the mountains at Tagaytay. Simply beautiful. Really one of the more scenic arrivals. That is what makes me love the Philippines, flying in the Philippines so much. And there in the background is Laguna and the Laguna Lake. And Kuya Kent, sorry for seeing your comment just now. I hope it wasn't too long. So I'm at expert server po. So I think this will be my last flight for the day. I will not fly anymore, but maybe you can watch my landing. But if you want to fly, if you're going to take off from Manila or Iloilo, maybe I can wait for you. I can wait for you until you land in Manila, and then I will record your landing. So it's fine with me po. So there it is po, we can announce inbound. And we will be landing at runway 06. And we will make right traffic. Cebu 448 is 21 nautical miles inbound. Will make right traffic runway 06. Be advised. So again, that's me trying to practice my ATC communication. So I'm still learning, so if anyone is out there who would like to correct me, please go ahead po. I'll be more than happy to accept the feedback. So we are turning right downwind to runway 06. The winds right now at Manila are 110 to 11 knots. It's a bit of a crosswind, but it's still a headwind, so it's not too bad. It's something like what we experienced at Iloilo earlier. So I think it's something we can manage. Okay, so Kent, you told me po you are still at grade 2. So you can only do casual server. So I'm sorry po Kent, but after this I will not be flying anymore, but maybe the next time I stream a flight, you can join me again po, and I will make sure to remember to fly in the casual server so that all of you can join. So it is my fault po for not anticipating this. But for sure po next time I live stream, I will fly in the casual server so that more of you guys can join. So but still thank you po for coming by the stream. So I will start to get ready to land. I will decrease my speed to 200 knots. And I'll report position. So Cebu 448 on right base, runway 06. So let me set my nav 1 so that I can perform the ILS approach for runway 06. So, and we're approaching 200 knots. Let me increase the trim so that my aircraft will be more stabilized. And there is Gondo in front of us, and there is Mount Mariveles in front of us, also a very nice mountain. So this kind of scenery is really what makes this Ibago arrival very iconic and something worth flying, because it's simply beautiful. So we will be flying a few more nautical miles before we start our final. So we can set flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
And then we will decrease our speed to 180 knots. And there in front of us is Manila. So the thing is, for Manila, sometimes the scenery is glitched out. So every time I fly into Manila, I always remember to clear the scenery cache so that it will not be glitched out, hopefully. Only in the Philippines, right? Hopefully it will be fixed.
but it's okay. We can set our flaps now to flaps 2.
Flaps 2.
And start slowing down to 170 knots. And once we capture the glide slope, then we will announce that we are on final. So we can arm our approach right now. And then once it captures the glide slope, then it will just follow it from there. So let's decrease our speed to 160 knots. Increase our trim. Decrease it a bit, it's too much. Okay. So, and there we go, Manila Airport loaded. Luckily. And there we go, our aircraft has captured the ILS. And we are now descending down to runway 06. And let's announce that we're on final. Runway 06. Manila traffic, Cebu 448 on final runway 06. Be advised. So it's quite windy right now, but I think we can manage. So we can put our gear down.
Gear down.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing, please.
And flaps 3.
Flaps 3.
And then decrease our speed to our final approach speed. And set flaps full
Flaps
as well.
full.
And we will set our go around altitude to 4,000 feet. And there we go. We are almost there, guys. I hope all of you can still hear me.
calibrate my phone in advance. And I almost forgot to arm my spoilers.
1,000.
Okay, it's okay. Calibrate it again. Okay, my aircraft.
Approaching 06.
So for the time being, my auto throttle is still controlling the speed.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
500.
Let's correct our heading a little bit, and we're a little bit
400.
okay. 2 reds, 2 whites.
300. 200.
Alright. I'm
100.
controlling the throttle now.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Retard.
Landing spoilers extended.
Right, spoilers, reverse screen, peace out. Knots, slow the reversers. 60 knots. Welcome to Manila, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. This will indicate that we have parked at the gate
Spoilers
and that it's safe
retracted.
for you to move about. At this time, you may use your cellular phones if you wish. Please check around your seat for any personal belongings you may have brought on board with you. And please use caution when opening the overhead bins, as heavy articles may have shifted around during the flight. On behalf
Okay.
of the entire crew,
Flaps
I'd like
up.
to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward
sorry
to seeing
about
you
that.
on board again in the near future. Have a pleasant stay.
Manila traffic, Cebu 448, crossing runway 31. We can start the APU for the time being. Okay, and then we will taxi on to November. So we can turn off our strobes and landing lights. thank you very much, Justin and Kent. So Justin is my good friend. Thank you very much for stopping by. Justin and Kent, thank you for the thank you for the butter. So I hope it was a butter. We will check later. Uh, we will check it later to see if it's a butter in the replay. So let's just taxi to the gate first. I think it's fine here. I don't think Manila has the parking guidance either. So again, we're going to look outside. So I think for this one we will go all the way to the end of the line. Should be good. And stopping here. Okay. We are done. Aircraft is cleaned up, and our APU is on, so we can turn off our engines. Below 10%, we can turn off our beacon lights. And let's connect the bridges, which is something I forgot to do when we were in Manila just now. So there it is. The jet bridges are moving. And we have a nice Cebu A330 beside us. And I really hope that they add more liveries, more Philippine liveries into Infinite Flight. Well, so far for the A320 family, they only have Cebu Pacific for the A319, but it's already retired. So, and also we do not have any Philippine liveries for A320. And for the A321, we do have the Cebu Pacific and Philippine Airlines. Hopefully they can add Cebu Pacific and Philippine Airlines to the A320, and also for the A330 Neo, the A330-900. I hope they can add Cebu Pacific as well. So I think this marks the end of our flight. We have successfully done the round trip. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed my first time trying out a live stream. And thank you to everyone who dropped by to see my flights. So now we can end our flight and look at the replay. So let's see how much we earned. We got 1,500 XP. So that's nice. So let's see the replay. Let me change the time so that we can see the landing. So we will go to Iloilo. Iloilo is here. It will take some time before the scenery loads up. In the meantime, I will find a nice angle. Why is the scenery like this? Okay, it's loading up now. Maybe we can spot it from here. think this is a good angle. Okay, let's see the angle from here. So this is the landing at Iloilo. There was around a 50 knot headwind, I think, but hopefully it was still okay. Let's check it out. Wait, this is a bad angle. The thing was blocking. Let me look at it from here. The VOR was blocking it. Okay, let's spot it from this truck. I think this is better. I hope this is a better angle. There it is. This is so much better, and you can see also the mountains in the background. We kind of floated a bit, but at least we touched down, not too far into the runway. So let's see from the inside view. Maybe from... Oops. It's okay. We still have a lot of battery. Let's look from this view. From here. Okay, so this is from the perspective of the passengers. So this was a negative 145 feet per minute landing according to our flight report earlier. Oh, wasn't bad. Not bad at all. Okay, maybe now we can move on to the Manila landing, but let me just set the camera view while we're still here. And we will go all the way to Manila. It will take time to load, but it's okay. Luckily, the Manila airport loaded while I was landing, because too many times I approached Manila just to see that the scenery is not there, the runway disappeared. So let me find a nice... Oops, what is this? Where are we? Where are we here? Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Why is the scenery gone? Oh, it scared me. Okay, so let's look at it from this angle. This is one of my favorite angles to plane spot from. So let's zoom in a bit.